I wanted to move a little section. Just I'm going to call pop cuts. And it's something that we sort of talked about a little bit. It's just some things that were floating around in my world that's sort of from like the pop end of the rap world. And I think there's stuff that you probably would have heard of or thought about.
Maybe.
One of the things I read was an article, and I'm just going to reference like the headline really.
Okay.
And we can just talk about this briefly, is the idea that award shows need rappers, not the other way around.
Right.
That like award shows are late to the game, and they were calling out the Junos in that one in particular for being like way to be late to the game, and what does it mean really?
Yeah, it's fine.
Juno, who cares?
Well, I mean,
sort of is what this article is saying, that people are succeeding there from Canada, don't need to, and haven't really fucked with the Junos.
And I mean, it's in one way where a lot of people can be like, in the sense of like, F you, Junos. In the sense like, oh, now you want us. Now it's real popular. But I mean, I don't know. They had to change. Like, what you find with a lot of those like situations and companies and events, and committees like that, they're all run by old people.
Old white.
Old white people.
Yeah, a lot of the boards are.
Yeah,
and
it goes to show, and they're just slow on getting on board with things. And then, I mean, now you're kind of seeing, because now it's so popular, it's making lots of money. Everybody wants to be a rapper or what have you, and they all want to jump on board. And it's kind of in a weird way. You don't have to do it, but it is a good look in general, just to put yourself in front of a crowd like that. I mean,
if you're a younger artist,
that's it.
right?
Yeah. That's it right there.
But if you look at like the track record of the Junos, like look at all the people that don't support them now.
Right.
The Drake, Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, like
all the people that we should be like.
All the people that are on the Billboard charts, running the urban game.
Canada is running
for Canada.
The Junos should be a highly watched television event globally,
but
because those people are going to be on it.
But look how they did Drake in Newfoundland years ago.
Yeah. Right.
They got him to host. They nominated him for like 6-7 awards. Yeah. They didn't give him none of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was supposed to be his big breakout thing. He had an amazing album out. He should have won all those things. Yeah. Should have won all those awards. And they shunned him. Yeah. And he'll never forget that.
Yeah. I do think it is a question of where you are in your career, like at this moment. Like as we have this conversation right now, I think it depends where you are. Like if you're someone who doesn't need the Junos, you don't need them. But if you're someone who could stand to like get in front of that audience, that's beautiful. Keep it going.
What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah.
Come to Bump and Grind.
Yeah.
Man, we're making ads for shit. Cut
the
that out for
Junos will
Instagram.
have you.
All right, we're moving on to another pop topic, okay? And I just I had to bring this up.
Give you an award.
No.
Okay, just kidding.
I wrote down 6ix9ine versus everyone. What do you think of that kid?
It's interesting.
He's the king of New York,
supposedly.
According to him. According to him.
Yeah. It depends on your metrics on what you define as king, and what his metrics are.
Yeah. What do you think of this guy? I feel like I've seen this before.
You know what? Here's the thing.
Talking loud.
I mean, it's just one of those things where, for me personally, I'd rather give a person my respect for what they do. Mm-hmm. And if you're a rapper, then I should respect you for your craft.
Right.
And I think in this situation, why he is so popular is just because he's clearly is gaining it from controversy, rather than rap.
He's a troll.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta applaud the troll.
But it
sometimes.
makes people check out his music because they don't know who he is.
Right, for sure.
But it ups his views and it puts him in that.
He does have like numbers.
Yeah.
You know,
he does.
But I mean,
he's not wrong on that front.
No, and that's.
But we're gonna start seeing more and more and more and more of that when the YouTube laws change for like Billboard, because they're talking about taking into consideration YouTube views.
Right.
For artists. So like you'll be able to find artists you never knew about that just didn't come up through the music
well, they're doing with
stuff like
with
that.
Streaming, so it's the logical kind of next step.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
They're gonna start including YouTube views, and that stuff's gonna count.
Right.
Yeah.
So the more controversy you drive to you're gonna want to. Who is this kid? I gotta find out what he's all about, and you go check out the music. that's just gonna drive those kids to be more in the limelight, and there's gonna be more of these little fuckboys running around talking all this bullshit.
Artists, ladies and gentlemen, artists.
I call it what it is, man. You know,
Hey.
and it ain't artistry to me.
All right, we're moving on because
that's
this,
so
this
subjective.
segment, the segment is
Hey,
we're
man.
moving quickly. Let's take it to a little bit of a
Call it
historic
tomato, I
note.
call it tomato.
We were talking about something current there with 6ix9ine. Have you guys watched the Roxanne Shante movie on Netflix?
I haven't. I can't wait to watch.
I have not. I did watch.
Pivotal figure, obviously, in the
Yeah.
history of hip hop.
I hope that Joe Runts saw it.
Yeah, he did.
Joe
Okay,
Rogan
because I saw his
certainly did see it.
Facebook post about
He's
not
had
having,
many comments.
not having Netflix. I was kind of worried for the boy.
I'm aware that he's watched it at least twice.
Yeah.
No, he's
sure.
watched it because he's commented on other videos of
Yeah.
like Vlad videos, and
Right.
he's like, "That's not the way they did in the movie." So
Okay.
he's
Oh,
definitely
he's on
watched
it.
For sure, I could
Yeah.
see him there.
You
with,
haven't
with
seen
the
it?
surgical scalpel picking it apart.
You
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
No, I haven't.
I'm gonna-
I'm late, dude.
I'm gonna recommend it just as a. I'm gonna
sure.
say not just, but outside of hip hop too. People that are watching this are like, I don't know, I don't really care about that. It's a pretty good movie. I think if you knew nothing, about the characters, they don't like.
Right.
I kind of like they didn't spend a whole lot of time like explaining everything.
I hate when they
all
baby.
the time. It
I
was
hate when
just
they
kinda
baby
like,
feed everything.
you should know.
Yeah.
It was more directed like. That you should know who she is and like
Right.
be interested because you want to know what they're talking about. Not like here's like they didn't spoon feed it too much.
No, exactly. I don't like it when things do that. It's just like, okay, you could be talking about something else. And instead you've spent 15 minutes,
Yeah.
You can read the synopsis
Yeah.
and kind of get it and then watch the movie.
It's like you could read the Wikipedia first paragraph and get everything. They spent way too much time in the movie. But this
exactly.
doesn't do that, so I'd say give it a watch.
That's a lot of movie problems too.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other show.
I want to move now to a segment that we call Final Cut. And I want to, if you could, give us your craziest story from the rap game.
In what regards?
Just from your time as an entertainer, your time as a DJ.
You don't gotta incriminate yourself.
No, of
man.
course
No,
not.
just,
Of course
you know.
not. What's a doozy? What's something maybe, people like stories about famous people. People like stories about crazy times. What's something that you've done that you're just like sticks out to you? You're like, whoa.
I don't know, man.
Has there been a time you've been starstruck? Where you've been like, no.
No.
I'm stern, no.
No.
Yeah, that was a pretty stern no.
No.
No, you don't get starstruck?
No. I don't.
I get starstruck the fuck out of myself.
No. I get more.
Yourself?
I get more. Here's the
Even
thing.
in the night, I go to the bathroom, turn on the light. Holy fuck. What are you doing in there?
I get more pumped when again like I get to hang out with like people I respect and my like people I look up to than somebody that I don't know. Yeah, it looks good for social media. Cool.
Okay.
Good for you. Good for me.
Getting to meet childhood idols is cool. Though.
No, for sure, and I get that
They
too.
don't get starstruck,
Right?
I mean,
no,
just me.
I don't get.
maybe that's not the
yeah.
right word. Maybe
no,
that's not the
no,
right
but some people it happens and they kind of just lose all control and just like deer in headlights.
Who was someone that you met that was like that would fit that category? Where you're like, wow, that was awesome to be able to sit with that person that I respect and
Conversation. Oh man, I don't know because you know what? When I do, I don't really. Sometimes more recently I start conversing with people, but usually I just stay away and just mind my own business.
You're a very social,
It's weird.
antisocial person, not antisocial.
Yeah, no, I am though. Yeah.
See what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
kind of.
I kind like a certain event. Like I like hanging out. Usually, like for the jam, for instance, like I'll hang out in my little corner and kind of just watch, and people will come up to me, and if I see people, I'll say what's up. But I mean, I'm not, I like talking to people. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going out of my way
Right.
to be like.
I find it really interesting for someone who's like does such a social job,
Mm-hmm.
and such a, it's all about like creating
Yeah.
a scene of
No, for
people.
sure.
and
Yeah, I like it.
all that.
Yeah.
It's like, but maybe it makes a lot of sense too.
I like-
to be able to oversee that from a certain viewpoint takes a certain mentality to be able to disconnect from it and see it,
Yeah.
for what it is and not be totally lost in it.
Right.
To be able to control it from a different state.
Lost in the sauce. Don't get
In the
lost.
South.
Don't get lost. In
At the
sauce.
beginning, I introduced you as someone who could. I think I was marionette a crowd. I think I like the way that sounds. But what does that feel like to you when you have the crowd sort of like where you're like, wow, I can really just kind of move them. They're like, watch this. Like,
Right. No,
I got them on a string.
that was like another reason, I guess, like when you it's kind of like you're playing a video game and then you're like unlocking levels of like a character. You're like, oh my god, I just got this new power.
Right.
And then it's like with DJing, you start playing clubs and then eventually you start building up your experience points or whatever. And then you
Health
get
points.
yeah. And then and then there's those moments where it's kind of like you remember where you dropped the song or you did something dope, and then you hear like the crowd react over the music, right? You're just like, and then you keep going. You're just like, you play cool.
Yep, that
just
worked.
you keep it moving. Yeah, cool. You just save that in the memory banks for later. But yeah, it's just like one of those moments where it's just like, yeah, okay, cool, okay, let's go.
I want to go right back to a first I had for you actually that I didn't ask you, but just what you just said. Well, I made me want to just ask it.
Yep.
What was do you remember the first time you did like what I would call like a risky drop? I don't know, like a risky move, like when the crowd was feeling it, and you're like, I'm gonna go over here, and it was like maybe a pretty tight turn, or like, do you remember that? Is that something you even think
Like
about?
risky
I don't even know. Where it's like kind of like
not really, because like
this is a little.
I've always kind of like
Will
prided,
this work?
No, I've always prided myself on just kind of always kind of playing outside the box anyway,
Okay.
and just putting myself out there during my nights and just doing stuff on the fly anyway.
Mm.
So I mean,
So how much of this night is prepared when you go in, like in your mind?
never.
No.
No, like maybe I'll say for prepared, I make a folder of songs that
you'll
stuff
pull.
that I want to like, so I remember like that's a good song
Yeah.
I would like to play.
Yeah.
But honestly, generally for 95% of my shows, it's just kind of like, okay, what kind of crowd we got? Okay, cool.
Because that's a big element too.
Yeah.
Is you
Right.
gotta play off the crowd.
Yeah.
So
Of
you could
course.
plan the whole set,
Right.
go to the club, and that whole set ain't gonna work.
Right.
You know, you gotta play to like what they're feeling, and then especially if you're coming off another DJ, like
Yeah.
you gotta play off that. So if
Yeah.
they got the crowd going to one thing, you don't want to come in with something that's gonna kill the crowd.
Right.
Yeah.
You got
So
to
that's
move
why-
a little slower.
Yeah, that's why like freestyle in the sets is like 95% of it. Like you
Yeah.
said,
Just I mean, again, make my
prepare for big events,
Yeah.
prepare for battles.
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
also
there's-
prepare for things where you're like not in, like the battle. You know, you get your
Yeah.
the audience there
Yeah, of
watching.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
like-
don't go into a battle. Well, I mean, you
freestyle.
could. It'd be interesting.
You probably look a little more hectic.
Yeah, exactly. That
Maybe
could
that's
get,
the
could get a
angle.
first place.
That was the only time we ever did that was the DJ Olympics, the Wi-Fi battle. Remember?
that was the one I missed.
You weren't there for that?
No, old handy. Got
Oh,
in
that
the way.
was the one you
Yeah.
did miss. Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah. So like you never knew what you were gonna play.
Mm.
You
You
got
just
to
g-
submit like 5 songs, and you get one of those songs in each one of your sets.
Mm.
And if you made it right to the end, you would have played 5 sets. So you didn't know what you're playing until like 2 minutes before you went on.
Holy shit.
Which is amazing. I've always had that idea of where when we used to DJ records and there'd be a competition, I'd be like, there should be 5, or depending on how many people are in the competition, of course. So let's just say 6 people. Then there's 6 crates. You all choose a number, and the number corresponds to a crate, and then you take that crate
Yeah.
and you have like let's say an hour or whatever before the show. Everybody has an hour to reorganize the crate and then come up with something dope.
That's like somewhat what we used to do on those Drunken Monkey Gong Show nights.
Right.
Where just like everybody would bring a crate, you know what I mean, and you just fill it with what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
And then you draw the name. Okay, you're up. The only crate you can't choose is yours, and
Yeah.
there you go.
And I've always would even like I always wanted to take it a step further by putting like a sheet up in front of the DJ, so you have no idea who it is.
Mm.
So there's no bias. It's just the music is the bias.
Do you remember when they used to do that with the robot thing and then the DJ? This was years and years ago.
Oh yeah.
It was like a computer. It was like a computer program that could
right.
mix.
Yeah.
And they were like, they kept the DJ there the whole time, so you didn't know which one
Right,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
computer.
I did a radio show once for like a 3-hour live radio show where there was a screen out between me and the guest. So it was like this, and like we couldn't see each other at all, and I didn't know who they
It was
were.
like that
and it was
game-
open to
it
the
was like
public
that
to
game
come
show.
in. So I was just
Super
talking and stuff, and all of a
weird.
sudden they'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'd be like, "Oh, hey, welcome
Yeah.
to the whatever."
Super weird.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming through here, man. I really
thank you for having me.
I just think for people that there's so much that you are offering people, like not just sweat it out and have an amazing time dancing their butts off, which is so important to just living a good life.
Yeah.
But you are an awesome person to follow and look at on social media. I really genuinely I get this warmth off you when you're doing things that is inspirational. And if it's dope. Like, I really appreciate what you're doing. Like,
thank you.
If that's a very genuine thing for me. And I appreciate you coming down and chatting with us.
Appreciate
too,
it, boys.
And anytime you got something to let the world know about, you can come back.
Sweet. Every couple months I'll come back.
Can you look right here and give some shout outs to people that need it, things that need it? Direct people to where they should follow you and all the dopeness that you're up to.
Of course. You can go to my website, oktk.com.
Computer.com.
The computer, laptop. okaytk.com. Hey, OKTK on all social media.
Right.
And that's it. Shout out to anybody who watches this. Yeah.
You got a big show coming up, like, really soon, right?
Just the jam.
Yeah.
Saturday.
That's
we already talked about that.
All right.
Yeah, come on out, ladies and gentlemen. It's
Saturday.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Give a couple thumbs up to your boys for putting this together too on the old YouTube.
Shout out to Ascensions. Shout out to Canadian Lumber. Shout out to Mary Jane.
Shout out everybody.
And shout out to our winner this week.
Shouts out to Arbor-Core.
Arbor-Core, of course.
stay
and our winner of the pack of papers, the box of papers this week, is Steve Sly.
There you go.
Thank you for subscribing to the channel. That's the way you're going to get the free gifts.
So you're going to pick between the greens, the hippie, and the woods?
The greens, the hippie, and the woods. Your choice, my man.
I personally recommend the greens.
The greens.
Yeah. Personally.
Courtesy of
TK,
Yeah.
Thank you for your suggestion of what paper Steps should have. And thank you for coming through, my man.
Madug!
Yes, sir. Thank you, my man.
And on that note, Ivy, have another good week.
I'm going to Toronto. I will see you on the jam dance floor on Saturday night when I get back.
You fly in right onto the dance floor.
I fly right in midnight.
That's awesome.
By 12:30, 12:45, I'll be right there.
I like it.
And I will see you at the beginning of the next video.
Ooh.
Peace.
Jam.